You're a productive worker, building the most competitive products in the world. But how much do you control your strategic mind versus your government? That's a growing debate today, and one we're going to explore. Western governments have doubled down on strategic industries since COVID-19, subsidizing new semiconductor fabs, rare earth metal mines, pharma manufacturing facilities, and other producers of critical goods. The goal is simple: ensure that the physical infrastructure necessary for the success of these industries is under sovereign control by reducing foreign interdependence. Having the right physical capital, though, isn't enough to protect these industries, and so now governments are increasingly turning towards their next challenge: strategic minds. How do governments gain strategic control over their best brains? That's not a new goal for knowledge economies, and traditionally this has been a mostly positive enterprise for the talent targeted. Outside the ringer that is the U.S. immigration system, America recruits exceptional people from all around the globe with a robust pipeline that's the envy of the world. China, through the 1,000 Talents program, has cultivated a global recruiting effort to identify the next generation of emerging scientists and engineers and offer them prodigious sums to migrate to the mainland. Entrepreneur visas, exceptional talent programs, laboratory funding packages, governments have typically wielded bountiful resources and bureaucratic efficiencies in order to attract and retain the right strategic minds for their economies. But that positive approach is absolutely not sufficient for the scale of concern around strategic industries these days, and now governments are moving beyond offering positive carrots to instead wielding disciplinary sticks to ensure that their best brains stay right where they are. Take a recent example from South Korea, where the Financial Times reported that the government is creating a database of chip engineers working for South Korean companies in order to monitor their travel in and out of the country. Chip engineers apparently now sit alongside terrorists, criminal drug lords, and international money launderers as people placed on travel watch lists. It makes bureaucratic sense for investigators, of course. To track down leaks, they needed data on who people are meeting, and one way to do that is to track their whereabouts in order to generate useful correlations. But pause and consider the much more cyberpunkian and dystopic vision of what these cognitive watch lists imply. A semiconductor researcher spends their life studying the chemistry, physics, and electrical engineering required to build the next leading-edge chip node, and rather than being heralded as an economic hero with the commensurate compensation to match, that researcher is instead identified by the authorities as a potential long-term threat to the sovereignty of the nation. The smarter you are, the less freedom you have, and the less privacy you deserve. Strategic minds are a resource for the government to protect, just one more element of protecting strategic industries. This watch list doesn't target sensitive government employees or people working in national laboratories with classified access to federal secrets, who might agree to such ongoing surveillance as a normal function of their employment. This sort of watch list is targeting workers in private industry who have been identified by their companies as critical employees. When it comes to industrial espionage, travel watch lists are obviously a blunt instrument. If you want to leak intellectual property to China, just do it in Mallorca instead of Beijing. Don't leave a correlation. No government can globally tail all of its engineers and cognitive elite. And so these programs don't solve the problem, but what they do offer is a veiled threat. You're being watched. Don't talk to the wrong people, don't travel to the wrong places, don't be caught in the wrong position. It's hard to believe the remit of such programs will remain locked to South Korea and a few of its top chip engineers. After all, insider threats can come from nearly anyone who has access to a company's intellectual property, and so the scale of these programs is guaranteed to expand. Multiply that scale by the number of industries now labeled strategic, and pretty much anyone in the modern knowledge economy is suddenly a strategic mind worthy of government monitoring. There will be people who will accept such constraints, either because their passion is so great that they can't imagine professional alternatives, or they are economically wedded to their course in life and don't have a choice. But industrial policy, particularly around labor, is an iterated game. Threatening the strategic workforce with jail doesn't protect strategic industry, it simply makes the bullshit jobs of the 21st century more attractive.